Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. All happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. If you want to be happy, be. The two most powerful warriors are patience and time. There is no greatness where there is no simplicity, goodness, and truth. True life is lived when tiny changes occur. Wrong does not cease to be wrong because the majority share in it. The sole meaning of life is to serve humanity. Rummaging in our souls, we often dig up something that ought to have lain there unnoticed. In the name of God, stop a moment, cease your work, look around you. We can know only that we know nothing, and that is the highest degree of human wisdom. The sole meaning of life is to serve humanity. The strongest of all warriors are these two, time and patience. Happiness does not depend on outward things, but on the way we see them. It is amazing how complete is the delusion that beauty is goodness. There are as many kinds of love as there are hearts. Only people who are capable of loving strongly and suffer great sorrow, but this same necessity of loving serves to counteract their grief and heal them. To get rid of an enemy, one must love him. A man is like a fraction whose numerator is what he is and whose denominator is what he thinks of himself. The larger the denominator, the smaller the fraction. Boredom, the desire for desires. What a strange illusion it is to suppose that beauty is goodness. True love means renouncing the love of oneself for the sake of another. If you look for perfection, you'll never be content. Without knowing what I am and why I am here, life is impossible. Love is life. Everything that I understand only because I love. The best stories don't come from good versus bad, but good versus good. The more we live by our intellect, the less we understand the meaning of life. All the variety, all the charm, all the beauty of life is made up of light and shadow. There is something in the human spirit that will survive and prevail. There is a tiny and brilliant light burning in the heart of man that will not go out no matter how dark the world becomes. To live for others is to live fully. The changes in our life must come from the impossibility to live otherwise than according to the demands of our conscience. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. The only absolute knowledge attainable by man is that life is meaningless. A man can live and be healthy without killing animals for food. Therefore, if he eats meat, he participates in taking animal life merely for the sake of his appetite. There is no greatness where there is not simplicity, goodness, and truth. A man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. Historians are like deaf people who go on answering questions that no one has asked them. Art is not a handicraft. It is the transmission of feeling the artist has experienced. The most difficult subjects can be explained to the most slow-witted man if he has not formed any idea of them already. But the simplest thing cannot be made clear to the most intelligent man if he is firmly persuaded that he knows already, without a shadow of doubt, what is laid before him. Happiness is being with nature, seeing it, and talking to it. Spring is the time of plans and projects. Wrong does not cease to be wrong because the majority share in it. There is no condition of life to which a man cannot get accustomed, especially if he sees that everyone around him lives the same way. Be bad, but at least don't be a liar, a deceiver. If you want to be happy, try only to please God, not people. Everything I know because of love. In the midst of winter, I found there was within me an invincible summer. Man cannot possess anything as long as he fears death. But to him who does not fear it, everything belongs. To educate the peasantry, 3 things are needed: schools, schools, and schools. What counts in making a happy marriage is not so much how compatible you are, but how you deal with incompatibility. True life is lived when tiny changes occur. The truth is obtained like gold, not by letting it grow bigger, but by washing off from it all that is not gold. The law condemns and punishes only actions within certain definite and narrow limits. It thereby justifies, in a way, all similar actions that lie outside those limits. If you make it a habit not to blame others, you will feel the growth of the ability to love in your soul, and you will see the birth of happiness. One of the first conditions of happiness is that the link between man and nature shall not be broken. We lost because we told ourselves we lost. It's much better to do good in a way that no one knows anything about it. Free thinkers are those who are willing to use their minds without prejudice and without fearing to understand things that clash with their own customs, privileges, or beliefs. Everything comes in time to him who knows how to wait. The greatest of all warriors are these 2, time and patience. In the name of God, stop a moment, cease your work, look around you. Joy can only be real if people look upon their life as a service and have a definite object in life outside themselves and their personal happiness. The more one loves, the nearer one approaches the meaning of life. There are no conditions to which a person cannot grow accustomed, especially if he sees that everyone around him lives in the same way. Governments not only are not necessary, but are harmful and most highly immoral institutions. Everything that I understand only because I love. Music is the shorthand of emotion. There is only one time that is important now. It is the most important time because it is the only time when we have any power. The only significance of life consists in helping to establish the kingdom of God. And this can only be done by means of the acknowledgement and profession of the truth by each one of us. A man is like a fraction whose numerator is what he is and whose denominator is what he thinks of himself. The larger the denominator, the smaller the fraction.